You are sick to death of stepping on the scales every single week and not seeing any change. And I can tell you exactly why that's happening. If we don't fix this, your fat loss is going to fall the way it always has. And it's not because you aren't putting the effort in, it's because of the way you're measuring it right now. And here's what you think's happening. You feel like you're the problem at the moment. You feel like you might not be putting enough effort in, so you spend more time in the gym, you do more cardio, and you might think that you're not doing enough in terms of your nutrition. So you bring your calories right down. But that can only last so long before you keep adding cardio, keep cutting your calories, and then you eventually burn out. And the big thing is that that's not even the reason. The reason you're not seeing a shift in the scales is because you're only weighing yourself once a week. And that's an issue. Think about what that once a week weighing is doing for yourself. You'll get to a Sunday or a Monday, whatever day your weighing day is, and you're like, man, done it this week, waiting for a big drop. You step on the scales and it's not what you want to see. You then become disheartened and you start to think like, oh, what is the point in all this? And here's the bit that I want to be honest about before we even get into this is you want your body to look completely different to the way it is now. You don't actually want to just weigh less. You want to see a physical change in your body. So the scales, yes, they matter, but not in the way you think they do right now. So if you're going to continue to use the scales, which I'd encourage you to do, here's what I'd do. Stop weighing in once a week. Start weighing in every single day. And, ooh, Marcus, that sounds a little bit obsessive. Do you know what is obsessive? Do you know what is obsessive? You looking in the mirror every single day and pointing out the bits of fat that you want to change that aren't going anywhere. That's obsessive. Do you know when, I've got my mirror here. Do you know when you're like, oh, I could get rid of that? That's obsessive. What isn't obsessive is you collecting data on a daily basis to understand the trends of your body weight, to understand if you're moving in the direction that you want to be going, instead of just doing that once a week. So you can't really see what the trends are over time. And when it goes up slightly, sacking everything off and not making the progress that you want. That's what's obsessive. But the daily weigh-in is only one step. Because once you collect that data on a daily basis, you can then compare it to the weeks beforehand and see what the average weight's doing. And then you can compare it to what time of the month you're also comparing it to. Because as women, some of you are, I'd imagine, then of course you know that in different times of the month, your body is going to be going through different stages and it may weigh a little bit more. So then it's important that you don't compare that to the week prior, where your body was probably not as bloated and weighed a little bit less. So then we can compare the month's averages as well to understand where you were at that time last month. Therefore, when you do step on the scale and it might be a little bit heavier, you can then understand why. It doesn't leave you disheartened and you can actually keep on making progress instead of feeling like you just want to sack it all off and you're doing all of this effort for nothing. Then there's the piece that most people don't even think about tracking at all. How do you actually feel in the gym? Because when we look at our actual gym performance, that's data. We can take emotions completely out of that and look, am I getting fitter? Am I getting stronger? Am I performing better in the gym on a weekly basis? If all of those are also trending in the right direction, you're more than likely doing something right. Because again, you can't look at that emotionally. That is hard physical facts. Am I increasing weight? Am I increasing reps? Am I getting quicker with my runs if running is your goal? If you look at that and go, yeah, do you know what it is? I am progressing. Then your effort isn't going to waste. And you putting all of your effort and all of your sole focus on a scale once a week is exactly why you aren't getting anywhere. I don't know how many times I can say it. So if you put all of that together, something will finally change. If you look at the data over weeks and months, if you look at how you're performing in the gym and are you getting stronger, and if you look at how you're actually feeling in terms of your energy and are you getting fitter, I can almost guarantee that you're going to make progress. Because if you're tracking on all of those fronts and they're improving on a weekly, monthly basis, and you actually expand your time horizon and understand that it's probably going to take a little bit longer than what you'd like it to take right now, then you will see progress. But if you go into it expecting that it's going to be 6 weeks, you step on the scale once every week, then I can almost also guarantee that if you do lose the weight's going to come back on because you've got no other way of tracking any sort of progress. So when you do get to a weight that you really, really like and you look at your physique and go, actually, that is a little bit better, you've got no way of managing that because your only focus is what that scale says, not how am I performing, not how am I looking, am I getting stronger, am I getting fitter? So then you go back into that cycle of sucking in for wedding photos. You go hiding photos when you're away on holiday. You don't want to get your top off around the pool. And you get back into that cycle, which is where we don't want you to be. So this week, change how you're tracking. Don't change the effort you're putting in unless you aren't doing anything at all. Keep the effort the same for the next 2 weeks and just change the way that you're monitoring your progress. Take some progress photos. Even if you don't want to right now, I can almost guarantee that in 6 months' time, you will look back at them photos if you keep putting the effort in and go, wow, I am so glad I took them to look back on and understand the progress that I've made. Because sometimes the scales don't tell you the whole story, and they never ever will, because they don't just take into account fat. Because let's be honest, fat is what you want to lose. The scales take into account absolutely everything. Bone density, salt, water, everything in your body they take into account. Muscle. It's not just fat. So you can't rely on that. So put all of those things together, start tracking everything differently, and stop reacting to one bad morning on the scales and sacking everything off because of that. If you want more tips like this on a daily basis, my Instagram's linked down below. Go and click on that, drop me a follow, and look out for more daily tips on my Instagram. And if you want a little bit more information on how one-to-one coaching works, or how this could look like for you in your life and how we can get you in the shape of your life and maintain that forever, there's also a link down below. There's 3 boxes: your name, your email, your phone number. I'll get in touch with you and see if we'll be a good fit. If you are just here for the videos, you're enjoying them, and you feel like you're making progress watching these, then I'll see you in the next one, and have a class week.